Welcome to the Dream 100 Show, the epicenter of influence, collaboration, and exponential growth. You're about to discover the power of relationships. Dream 100 relationships. And you're one relationship away from a totally different business and life. This is your host, Michael Tasner.
What if you could completely replace your bookkeeper with AI? In today's episode of the Dream 100 Show, I wanted to continue on this notion of all things AI, but I didn't only want to focus on the marketing aspect. So I know that in theory, in training, in teaching, the Dream 100, we're all about how do I help you, how do I teach you to get more of your Dream 100 clients, partners, relationships. That's the goal. But at the same token, I want to make sure that I'm giving you up-to-date stealth strategies, things that I am seeing happening in real time, things that are going to be happening over the next couple of years so that as a whole, your business stands the test of time. Because at the end of the day, while I fundamentally believe marketing above all, marketing is what drives your organization. That is what you need to be investing the most amount of time, money, resources in. You still have to have the other areas across your business balanced and working in some capacity. So the four core areas are marketing, accounting, kind of systems/strategy, and teams. We spoke last week about supplementing content and leveraging AI around content. Today, I wanted to talk about what is typically a little bit of a boring topic, and that is accounting, bookkeeping, tax planning, tax strategizing. How do I replace a bookkeeper, improve efficiency, and save time? So for me, step one with everything when it comes to AI is I'm trying to look at where am I wasting time that could be spent working on the business, not in the business. Where can I start to shave off 10 minutes here, 30 minutes there, an hour there? Where is that repetitive stuff that's happening either that I'm executing or that my team is executing on a very regular basis? So step one is I want you to take out a sheet of paper and I want you to write down two completely different things in two different columns. So to the left, I want you to just go through and start to write out all of the things that either your bookkeeper is doing, the things that they're asking you for on a regular basis, all these different things that correlate back to accounting, taxes, tax mitigation, payroll, all of that stuff. And I want you to list out each of them kind of line by line by line. And what you're going to end up finding is that there are a lot of random things that go into accounting. From downloading credit card invoices, to reviewing receipts, to tracking down receipts, double checking payroll against time records, filling out grant forms and checking in on that, making sure that everything is within compliance, paying quarterly taxes if you do them quarterly, getting ready for your tax. Like there's a lot of stuff, and most of those are bigger, but then there also, I'm sure, are going to be a lot of smaller things that you're finding that you're actually doing on a pretty regular basis. Maybe once a week, your bookkeeper asks to log in to download some different statements from your credit cards or your bank. Maybe it's them giving you a long list of things that they're like we used to have this category called Ask Michael. So all the things that they didn't know what category from a bookkeeping standpoint they went to. And that was once or twice a month. To reviewing your accounts payable or your accounts receivable. To chasing accounts receivable, sending emails, like all those different things, I promise you, add up. And they're either being done by yourself, a bookkeeper, a receptionist, the director. They're could be done by all different types of people across a business. A lot of different people might be operating in this accounting hat. If you've got a CFO, if you're big enough, but a lot of it I know falls onto you because I know in the past a lot of things fell onto me. So that's going to be the left-hand column. On the right-hand side, I'm looking for you to write down all the things that you know that you should be doing from a bookkeeping tax strategy standpoint. Maybe there's only one thing, maybe there's 50. I've talked about a methodology called profit first. Maybe you should be deploying profit first. Maybe you should be reconciling your books within 5 days. Maybe you should be increasing your marketing spend. You should be hiring a tax strategist. Whatever all those different things are, I want that to be another list. So you've got a list of all the kind of status quo things that you're doing, or your staff, and then you've got a list of all the kind of we should be doing these things. So that at least gives you a baseline. Now from here, kind of accounting 101 is that you want to make sure that you have the AI features turned on at whatever tool you're using. So QuickBooks, in my professional opinion, has been among the best to be able to leverage AI. And it's as simple as turning the features on so that it's auto-categorizing things for you, that it's making recommendations. But oddly enough, a lot of business owners don't have those free features turned on. Another widely used tool is Xero, Xero. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But that tool also has a lot of AI-first tools and technology. The easiest thing that tends to be one of the biggest time wasters is making sure that receipts and payments are actually getting categorized in the correct manner. Now, one beautiful thing to kind of keep in mind from an AI versus a human. So if you think about a human like us, I guess I could technically be an AI talking to you, but I'm still a human, at least as of right now. We make mistakes. And our mistake rate can be anywhere between 1% and I've seen as high as 15. That could be a decimal, it could be miscategorizing, it could be forgetting to deduct something, but we make mistakes. We also are going to have capacity limits so that if you're processing a lot of data, we're going to max out to where now you need another person, whereas AI technology, as long as you're training it well, which we're going to talk about in just a minute, the mistake rates are far less. It can also process thousands of pages. You could load in a 500-page tax return and it can process it in as little as a couple of minutes. How long would it take an accountant to go through a 500-page tax return? Hours and hours and hours. Now, there are going to be certain things they're going to look for, but then you go back to my original statement around mistakes. They're going to possibly miss something. So if we know that humans have a higher error rate and they can't process as much data nor as quickly, I would argue the case that you need to be leveraging AI agents, AI bots, and tools like Gemini and ChatGPT to help you. So step one is make sure that whatever tool you're using, like QuickBooks or Xero, that you have all of that AI technology turned on. Step two is I want you to look at that list of some of the manual things that you're doing or your staff is doing and see, is it a simple bridge? So a bridge is that they're going into one tool and maybe downloading stuff or exporting stuff and then putting it into another tool, or they're downloading it and then they're putting it into a different format. So they're kind of doing two different things. There's two very easy to use tools. One is Zapier, and the other one is Make, M-A-K-E. These tools act as a bridge. So for example, you can look and see all the different bridges from QuickBooks to Zapier, QuickBooks to Make. They can log in and download bank statements for you. They can pull all of your credit card transactions instantly for you, or once an hour or once a day, whatever frequency you would like. It can download and export all of the data and import it in instantly from tools like Gusto for payroll. It can convert things into Excel tables for you. Like, it can do this stuff for you without you having to code. And it's as simple as making the little connections. So a lot of business owners still like to look at things in Excel. And you could have it set up to where it's logging into QuickBooks once a month and it's exporting certain reports, instantly putting them into Google Sheets for you, and then even taking it a step further to send you an email as to when it's done. And that's as simple as using a tool like Make or Zapier. There are a lot more advanced tools. There's a tool called Float, Float, that you can use. It's an AI tool that will help you start to forecast your cash flow. So the whole big thing with artificial intelligence is that you need to train the model. You need to train wherever you're going to look at getting context or coaching from. So what I'm building as we speak are these different little AI avatars that you can go to and talk to that are trained on my models, my expertise, my intellectual property, my content. So if you take, and let's just, again, I like to use the simple ones because the fact of the matter is small business owners are very, very behind on AI. Like you're thinking that it's just ChatGPT, but literally every week, I mean, between episodes of me shooting, there's new stuff coming out. Last week, Google released Google VO 3, which is a video tool that you can prompt and make video commercials that are unlike anything that I've ever seen before. Like you're now Steven Spielberg. Now, it's not inexpensive. I'm sure over the next couple of months or the next year or so, it'll become less and less expensive. And now all of a sudden you're putting out commercials or you're putting video editors out of business. Like, and that stuff exists as we speak. You could make a 30-second video for about $100. That's very high, like insanely produced stuff. Every single week it's getting better and better and better. Again, at a pace unlike anything that I've ever seen. But you need to train it on you, your business, your content. So how do you do that? I want you to load in 5 years worth of financials. If you're a new business, load in whatever you have. Load in month by month. Export out from QuickBooks all of your P&Ls, your balance sheets. Load in 5 years of tax returns. Now make sure that you're on a paid version of whatever tool. Whether it's Gemini, whether it's ChatGPT, for example, want a paid tool so that it can't be leveraging or using any of your information. So it's that closed environment. And now you can start to ask questions. One of my favorite things to do is that once a month, all done by a tool called ChatGPT Operator, which currently, as of filming, is $200 a month. It'll log into all of my personal credit cards. It will download these statements. It will then load them into ChatGPT. ChatGPT will scan all of those and start to see, is there anything that I charge on a personal credit card that should have been a business expense? Now, every now and then, not on a very regular basis, but at least on a monthly basis, I use on accident a personal credit card for a business transaction. I have something called an accountable plan, so you're legally able to deduct this stuff as long as you're accounting for it accordingly. Think about all of the missed deductions that you paid cash for, that you had a receipt that you forgot to upload, that you used your personal Amex card versus the business Amex. You were at a trade show and you wrote off a bunch of stuff, or checks that went from a personal account. This stuff happens all the time. And the way that you need to start looking at it is that every dollar that you're not legally writing off, that's a legitimate business expense, you're costing yourself about 30 cents, roughly 30 cents. So this stuff starts to add up, even if it finds, last month it found there was a reoccurring membership that was an educational thing on marketing that was like $1,000 that apparently renews every couple of years. Now, I'm sure I would have found it eventually, but it made my life a lot easier that the tool at the end of the month or a couple of days after closing, all this stuff happened automatically, and then it's set up to also then put it into Excel, Google Sheets in particular, for me to look at. And then based on if I write yes or no, then it will move that stuff over to QuickBooks automatically using Zapier. And that's just one example. But as you start to load in your data, you can now have it go through and say, am I missing something? How does my cash position look the next couple of months? Are there any big trends that you're spotting? Did I miss any deductions on my tax returns? Think about that. Like the stuff that you used to have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for, you can now have at your fingertips in real time for free. Next to free. If you're not leveraging Gemini and ChatGPT and different tools, Float is another really good one on the accounting side to help, again, forecast cash. If you're not leveraging AI tools like the Scanner Pro app on an iPhone or an Android to scan your receipts and then match those with categories and then instantly move them into QuickBooks. You can be leveraging all different kinds of AI agents to go through and look at your receivables and actually then go in and program and send emails. We see that you're behind on this. Can you please give a status update or give us a call here? And it does that stuff on autopilot. So that AP person that you had or your accounts receivable person, they're literally able to manage all of that stuff for them without taking a break, without needing a holiday or a day off. Get out there and start improving the accounting side. Train your agents, train tools like Gemini and Grok and ChatGPT so that it's got your information, so that it knows more about you. It can predict things by going back and analyzing hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of pages of data to tell you, hey, you're missing out on this, or hey, you have these 5 big expenses coming up that you might have forgotten about. To where you're then getting to a place where this becomes your advisor, where you're literally just able to ask a couple of questions and it gives you all amazing information. This stuff is here. Get out there, take some action today, improve the accounting side, the deduction side, the tax forecasting, tax mitigation, leveraging AI in your small business. Next week, we're going to talk about how to leverage AI with systems and the scalability side of things regarding systems and even some strategy stuff. So stay tuned. Catch me next week. Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'll see you next week.